Hi, and this is reflection video number 4, and I think maybe our last one too. So the questions prompted maybe people who've affected my relationship to STEM, and then how I'm probably influencing STEM, and I hope maybe I am a little bit. So I think this semester's brought about a variety of perspectives on STEM education. I'm still kind of amazed as we work through the first part of the semester, the history part, how things historically and politically have had that direct impact on STEM. The fact is, the jobs in the future will be directly tied to an effective implementation of STEM education and content and pedagogy in the classrooms. And I guess as we've seen the growth in K-12 education, STEM education, I still believe there's ways to bridge some of the glaring disparities that we see, specifically among minority groups, just like the paper that we're currently writing. So as I interview people for our group paper, and then I read my biography and worked through this course, their question, the influential people question, I guess, has been kind of at the back of my mind. Who exactly influenced me? Although I wasn't in school in the 60s, like the people I interviewed, I tried to answer the same questions I was asking them in my mind. I don't remember a specific science teacher or math teacher having some huge impact on me, saying, oh, you're going to go to the math or the science or technology field, or even a point where that's where my career was headed. I do remember that I like math, and I was kind of good at it, except for geometry. I remember working like crazy in that class because I had the perception of a teacher who was just trying to fail us, and I know that's kind of a student's job to not like your teacher, but maybe he was or maybe he wasn't, but I still remember that from when I was 15. And one of the things that drove me, and he was probably one of the ones who drove me to excel in math and do well after that. So I was exposed to computers pretty early in elementary. I remember a lab of Macs. I went to school up north for a little while in western New York, and I remember a lab of Macs with the old floppies to boot them up and the DOS commands. Playing that game, Where's in the World is Carmen Sandiego, all the way through junior high. And then in high school, I was in the South at that point, and I'm taking just like a basic computer class, like a productivity class, and that was WordPerfect and Lotus 1-2-3 and those kinds of things. I did attempt a computer science major in college for like a semester, and then program eventually killed that. I just discovered I just wasn't creative enough to program. But I do remember seeing the internet in college during the first year I was there, and my very first web search being Walt Disney World. So those are things I kind of remember and kind of impacted me a little bit. And and at that time I wasn't sure what impact internet searches was going to have on me, but it took probably less than a year to find out all that was happening in your second year of college. I ended up with a finance math degree. I have a minor in math. And after that, I began teaching math. So as far as like who had I think there's a lot of little things that kind of led up to that situation. I had a grandparent, a grandmother that was very much about education and encouraged us to pursue our education. And I kind of still feel like I'm a lifelong learner due to some of that. So I'm still kind of drawn to computers, even after teaching math for 10 years. And then I did some CTE classes before I got out of the classroom. In my most recent position in the last 6 or 7 years, I've kind of had a total obsession with Apple products, the culture of Apple, and the platform for education they promote. Like I've said, I currently coordinate a one-to-one program for students, and we have about 3,500 devices out there, and Macs for our teachers, about 300 or so. So my biography project's over Steve Jobs, because I kind of had this obsession of it right now. That's the culture of the community. He was the pirate of Silicon Valley, and he had a direct influence on how we view technology today and how we're using it in education. So I'm lucky enough to have actually been in California twice to coordinate with Apple in our implementation. The most recent visit was this week. I left Monday and came back Wednesday, so it was a quick trip. But I spent 3 amazing days immersed in a culture of change, a different pedagogy other than the sit and get. They talk about challenge-based learning, collaborative workspaces, and collaborative learning, of course. And my favorite quote for this week was from the TASA representative that was there with us, and he said, "Let's prepare students for their future, not our past." And I think I tweeted that both my personal and my professional Twitter, but such a profound statement during that time. And this wasn't a sales meeting. This wasn't about how much memory there was or screen size or anything like that. This was a discussion or even a discussion about Apple versus PC, because I still have that discussion in my district. It was a discussion about preparing students and providing a different kind of learning experience, with technology being the platform or the resource. Anyways, I'll talk more about Steve Jobs and Apple and his influence on STEM education in my book report, but it was an experience. So being at the Apple campus at One Affinity Circle in Cupertino, California is always an experience. Those are hard, long days, but you never walk out feeling like you've worked all day long. So, and I always come back excited after those kinds of things. But you can see from every aspect of the way that they do business, the way it's designed and run, it's about community and about collaboration, and it's about the end user. So using foundational skills to create. I work for a school district that is currently beginning. We are now moved to the implementation of digital coursework, trying to extend our days past the 3 o'clock hours for our students, trying to help regression and retention problems that we have from summer using our technology as a platform. So we're in the process of creating digital coursework for our students, and I feel like that's kind of our next step. So the iPad, just a tool. The changes that come with how we integrate our coursework and how teaching changes and how students learn. I hope that some of the influence I'm having on STEM education now and at the very basic level, I hope to change the way teachers view teaching, how students learn and apply their knowledge, and how to basically create. I don't know that Apple and TASA said that this week, that creativity skills are probably the most important skill that an employer looks for. If kids aren't learning the way we teach, then maybe we should change the way that we are teaching.